Increasingly, when damning information is leaked, it is met with outrage, not at those whose criminal activity has been exposed, but the individuals who dared breach the wall of secrecy.
John Kiriakou, former CIA agent and anti-torture whistleblower, may never see himself in the National Portrait Gallery, but he was celebrated in a different kind of ceremony Wednesday evening. The portrait is the newest edition in the Americans Who Tell the Truth series by artist Robert Shetterly. Kiriakou is the only CIA officer facing jail time for any action surrounding the government's torture program.
I never tortured anybody. But I'm heading to prison while the torturers and the lawyers who papered over it, and the people who deceived it, and the man who destroyed the proof of it, the tapes, will never face justice.
In 2011, he became the sixth whistleblower charged with violating the Espionage Act by the Obama administration during the first term.
Well, when it comes to punishing whistleblowers, President Obama is proving to be more aggressive than all previous presidents combined. Pretrial hearings are underway for one of them, WikiLeaks whistleblower Bradley Manning. The 24-year-old Army private is accused of releasing a video which shows a U.S. Apache helicopter shooting and killing Iraqi civilians and 2 journalists. Manning faces a slew of charges, including aiding the enemy. If convicted, he could face life behind bars.
This guy should be tried. Manning should be tried for treason. Execute him if he's found guilty.
Whoever in our government leaked that information is guilty of treason. And I think anything less than execution is too kind a penalty.
Through the course of the investigation, and as I have said publicly, that he should be charged with treason.
Regardless of the legal standing of this situation, I do think that it was reckless and irresponsible to leak all these cables. I do think that it has the potential not only to jeopardize some very sensitive issues with respect to national security and foreign policy, but you always run the risk when you do this of literally putting people's lives in danger. I'm going to have to thank you all very much. I've got to go.
The New York Times and so on.
Let's dig a little bit deeper right now with the chair of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, the Democratic Senator from California, Dianne Feinstein. Senator, thanks very much for coming in.
I have some other thoughts. I don't want to discuss them here. I'll discuss them with the committee tomorrow morning. I think what we're seeing, Wolf, is an avalanche of leaks, and it's very, very disturbing. It's dismayed our allies. It puts American lives in jeopardy.
I guess the question is, and you don't have to go into specific details, I would assume they would be classified, but do you know of a specific incident where someone's life has been threatened or endangered, an actual incident as a result of these leaks?
Yes. I can tell you where lives have been endangered.
Has anyone been killed as a result?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you want to go into specifics?
No, I do not.
All right, you don't have to. I suspect that this is sensitive
not going to.
Information. The state's secret privilege, which is this doctrine that essentially puts a censorship veil over everything you want to blow the whistle on. But this fight over the exposure of government misconduct goes all the way back to the American Revolution and the First Amendment. And the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution was enacted to prevent precisely what we're seeing unfolding today. People in the government witness the abuses, and they have a right to blow the whistle on it. And that's where Sibel Edmonds' case, I think, is going to be critical, because we are challenging the legal predicates that they have used to prosecute and suppress whistleblowers throughout this country. And we're challenging them now because they're illegal and unconstitutional. We're taking the offensive.
Now, you are saying that this dates back to the First Amendment, that is freedom of speech. So would you say then that this attack on whistleblowers is then an attack on freedom of speech?
Absolutely. It's fundamental to speech. And if you go back to what our founding fathers said, they said that it's government misconduct that the government wants to suppress the public ever learning about. So the heart of the First Amendment, its essential core, was to permit people to expose government abuses. But what we see in these censorship cases is that the government is using its power to intimidate, to prosecute, to threaten, and to stop government employees with information, be it waterboarding, information like Sibel Edmonds had about misconduct in the translation services, preventing the American people learning about the abuses of their government. And that's why we have the First Amendment. You know, okay, it's fun, you can read People magazine or watch TV, that's great, it's all protected under the First Amendment. But the heart of it, the core of the First Amendment, is the protection of people who want to expose the misconduct of government.